Next up on the menu, we also have that I've been meaning to watch for a while now. Friendship isn't fun anymore. It's exhausting. Now, what exactly does this video mean by that? I have no idea. I can't really relate to friendship being exhausting or anything like that. But I could see how that could be, but I'm going to leave my talking points for when we get into the video. Speaking of that, let's get a bite of the video. Talk to me.
People's age doesn't always reflect their emotional maturity.
True.
I've met 40-year-olds who acted like children, and I've met
get those every day when you're dealing with customers, huh? Yeah, it's all the time. Yeah, very immature people. That's why when people say, "Oh, I'm grown," that don't mean shit. That don't mean a damn thing.
18-year-olds who act like they're 30, and it's exactly this disparity that makes friendships so damn hard.
Mom didn't want to cook that day because I wanted to play video games.
Yeah, are you a child?
I was that weekend.
Friends you've known for years might not grow the same with you, and maybe you end up realizing that they're just terrible friends. Hi, welcome to
and all the time that's not true either, but I'll let him rock.
Another episode of I Find Something Interesting That I Want to Rant About. This is my last video of the year, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Enjoy the video. If you think friendship is harder nowadays, it might not be your fault. There are contributing factors, which I talk more about some of the structural issues leading to loneliness in this video, so you can check it out there. But I wanted to expand on that video because for some people, it might actually be an individual problem. I noticed with my generation, there's a lot of people who are just bad at being friends. Like, they're not evil per se, they just don't know how to act in social situations.
She would do this thing in our friendship that I now can clearly see is a huge red flag, where she would get really upset with me for small things, like things that are not that big of a deal, and she would really overplay them, like, Amanda, like, this really upset me, like, she'd really drag it out, right? And me, being a good friend, I would be like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to make you feel that way, like, I can see your point. And then she'd be like, yeah, well, like, that's how I felt, don't let it happen again, that sort of thing. And I can now see clearly looking back, she was doing this because she wanted to create this hierarchy between us. I think she liked having me be in a position where I'm like, trying to like win her back, like win her attention back.
Some people are over-therapized and weaponize it. Almost 20 years of friendship down the drain. Story time. So my best friends from middle school were visiting me in New York City. These friends have some liquidity issues. I wanted to show them my favorite restaurants without anyone worrying about money or cost. So I said, I'll pay for all your food. Then they go home, and for 3 months, I don't hear from them.
What the fuck? Why is it that they're not talking to you for 3 months? What did you do?
Responding to all of my messages in the group chat, and I asked one of them if they were ghosting me and what's wrong. And they said, the way that you paid for everything on our trip was manipulative.
What? What the fuck? What are we talking about? It was manipulative? The way you... Oh, it just made me feel so, like, small and... Oh, God. I do have some points to say about that. So, that's not a you problem. If someone feels, like, manipulated by you doing a kind gesture because you're, friends, that's a them problem. That has nothing to do with you. That's their own self-image getting in the way of them receiving good things, as most of the time it happens to, like, literally everyone all the time. And most of the time this happens because, well, the grand majority, if not all the time, this happens because they have a negative self-image of themselves, so they want to project that onto everybody else to make it seem like it's their fault that they don't like themselves. And that's how this goes. And this is why this is a them problem. Because this shit is fucking wild. I don't know how else to explain that.
You don't serve me anymore. I'm like, did your therapist tell you this? Who the hell is serving who? We're friends.
Finding out that your homies are low-key fake as fuck has to be one of the most eye-opening experiences I have ever experienced in my life.
Going zero communication for 3 months because you don't like how someone paid for your meal, making other people feel like they're in the wrong constantly because you want attention. This is high school levels of immaturity.
Immature as shit, man. That's why you gotta be careful who you pick your friends to be. And sometimes if you gotta leave them behind to grow, it's just what's in order, unfortunately. That's just the way it is.
And it's appearing in full-grown adults. Colleges are now offering courses on how to be a good friend. Because
hey, some people need that shit. I'm not gonna lie. Because me personally, the way I treat it is, if you don't reach out to me, most of the time I'm not reaching out to you. And that's just how it is. And if I do reach out to you, it's because like something on my own self-interest, you know. I'm gonna keep it a stack. But if you don't reach out to me, I won't reach out to you. I just reciprocate energy. That's how I do it. I reciprocate energy. Whoever interacts with me the most is who I interact with the most. Whoever I feel like is like on the same wavelength, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not on the same wavelength as me, why would I be around you as much? Like, yeah, sure, we can still be cool and play the game here and there, be friends, whatnot. Yeah, that don't got nothing to do with it. But to spend like a lot of time with you, you really got to be someone who's like on my wavelength for real. And I'm not fucked up about anyone not being on that wavelength anyway, because I'm gonna attract people that's on this wavelength that I am on, because you only get more of what you are, right? So I'm not fucked up about people not fucking with me because of how my mindset is or whatever, or however. And if I reach out to someone and they haven't reached out to me, it's because I'm doing it because I want to. I'm not doing it because I feel like, oh, I want to keep them in my life. No, I'm doing it because I want to. And that's what people got to understand. You got to get comfortable doing shit because you want to, and not having to explain yourself unless explicitly asked to.
Because it's something my generation never learned through lived-in experience as teenagers. We were too busy trying not to die from a global virus. So now we need to spend thousands of dollars to pay a middle-aged psych professor to teach us how to be a good friend. The pandemic atrophied many people's social skills. I have a friend who still has not caught on to the fact that not every conversation needs to be about her or what celebrity she had dinner with last week. Like, can the rest of us say something without you making it about yourself? Part of the reason why I think she's like that is because I'm seeing my generation turn to social media for learning social norms.
Something I notice younger Gen Z people do a lot is they use these therapy buzzwords to justify being a terrible person. One example of this is the phrase, "you don't owe anyone anything." Originally, this phrase was meant for people pleasers, but now you guys are using this phrase to justify being selfish and self-centered.
Yeah, here's the thing though. There's a lot of nuance to this, because like on one hand, you could have a lot of self-pride and like be very confident in yourself to the point where you make other people who are less confident in themselves see you as self-centered, see you as ego-driven, see you as whatever, whatnot. And that's why I still say it's a them problem if you perceive it that way. Now, obviously, if someone is just being a dickhead, you're just being a dickhead, guy. That's just how it goes. But if someone is like, they have a lot of pride in themselves, they have a lot of self-confidence, they have a good self-image, they're allowed to, I think they're allowed to talk about themselves if they want to. I think they're allowed to. But if they do it overly, that's where it's like okay, chill out. Everything in moderation. That's the key. Everything in moderation. Yeah, that's what I gotta say about that.
Because what do you mean you won't give your seat up to a pregnant lady because you don't owe her anything?
Okay, that's just being a dickhead. That's just being a dickhead.
That's just so mean.
You don't owe anyone an explanation. But, I mean, it would be nice and super helpful if you gave one so people could better understand your emotional experience and have a healthy dialogue with you. Right? Self-care is saying no. But like, are you gonna say no to everything and never do things for people you care about so the relationship can feel balanced, mutual?
Listen, it's all about your conviction and your intuition. What do you feel? Do you feel this person is someone you care and love about? Do you feel this is someone who is just trying to use you for a self-serving thing that they want? Or do you just not give a fuck enough? And these are the questions you have to ask yourself when you're doing things for people that are not you, right? Typically, you should be good at this, because if you can remember exactly why you're still talking to that person to begin with, if you have a good judge of character, then more often than not, you'll be fine.
And caring.
No one owes anyone anything, but if we all had that mindset, nothing would get done and there would be no accountability.
Originally, this concept of I don't owe anyone anything was reserved for just toxic situations, but now it's turned into an excuse to opt out at the sign of any discomfort and to protect your peace, even if it means being a bad friend. Don't get me wrong, if you're friends with someone who constantly brings you down, they don't respect your boundaries, and they only are nice to you when it benefits them, then yeah, maybe letting them go is the way. But is there not a fine line between protecting your peace and self-sabotaging, saying no to every social opportunity, complaining when you do go, and then you record a TikTok saying that you have no friends?
That's just someone being a dickhead who's like very, very, very unaware of like their own situation. Because if you have friends that want to go out and you're an introverted person, you shouldn't have chose those to be your friends to begin with. They already, y'all don't align. That's just how that works. Typically, you attract what you are. So you're going to be around the same type of people that you are in that moment. And if you are still friends with someone after you have changed, that means that you both have changed in some way too. Or you have changed, they have grown with you. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So, with that being in mind, you like protecting your peace is very important. You protecting your energy is very important. You don't want a self-loathing person who's always depressed and always talking about bad shit to be around you, because they will start to cloud your mind with bad shit, and then that's all you can think about, therefore putting you in the same position that they are in, a perpetual downward spiral slope, atrophy, fucking, you know the works. It puts you in there, and you don't want to be there, and we know we don't. But if you have a friend like that, it's just good to distance yourself from them. It's just good to like keep them at arm's length, because you don't exactly want them to do something that they will regret, but you don't want that around you either. And that's where you have to make the hard choice. Listen, having friends is not easy. Making the hard choice of protecting your peace, however that may look to you, is not easy. And that's why you have to have a good intuition, and you have to be confident in your decisions, confident in yourself, which would make you confident and give you conviction in your decisions. But yeah, man, this is it's not like a one step fix all thing. It's not a band-aid you can slap on this. It's more of a case by case basis type thing, and that's why I say this topic has a lot of nuance, and it's very interesting.
This mantra is now being used to justify excessive individualism, and that leads to a lack of basic human compassion, which conflicts with what it means to be a friend. Empathy.
Listen, I'm gonna say something that's gonna fuck your head up. Your friends are you. You are your friends.
That ties in with another popular quote: everyone wants a village, but nobody wants to be a village. So if you don't like
your friends, most of the time you don't like yourself. Or you don't like the person you used to be when you met them, meaning you need to let them go.
We've gotten into such a scary place where people think that friendship is tit for tat, and that's why everybody is so lonely, and that's why everybody is so miserable. Everybody wants a village, and no one wants to be a villager. And there's a direct correlation between not showing up for your friends and being miserable. If you constantly don't show up for your friends, they will stop showing up for you, and then you will be lonely.
And they will stop asking you to show up too. Yeah, that's just how that works. If you're never available and you don't communicate why you're not available, most of the time they're not going to show up for you too. And I don't expect any of my friends to always be there, even if I'm not talking to them, even if I'm not like reciprocating their energy. I would expect them to do the same shit. But like the friends I have reach out and say, hey man, is everything okay? I haven't heard from you in a while, type shit. So, and I'm just going to attract more people that's like that, because that's what I am. I reach out whenever it's been too long without me saying anything to you or you saying anything to me. I'm like, yo, you been good, bro? What's going on? Type shit.
Over-therapized ourselves into a society where we feel it's okay.
But I still reciprocate that energy. Oh, best believe. I reciprocate that energy. If I feel that you are standoffish, I'm like, okay, bro. I'm going to be standoffish with you. That's just how it goes.
To cancel on our friends last minute because we have social anxiety, or we need to set a boundary, we need to protect our peace. Well, you've protected your peace into having no friends.
I'm noticing more people are viewing friends as increasingly more optional, something to be fostered only after all of their other needs are met, only when they themselves need it, and not showing up when others may need their support. Which is weird, right? Studies have found time and time again that the key to a happier life is strong social relationships, and that includes platonic friendships.
Yeah, humans humans are social creatures. Even if you want to call yourself an introvert. Oh, I'm an introvert. I'm so mysterious. I just stay in the back. I don't want anyone talking to me. Like, no, dickhead guy. You want people to talk to you. Because humans want to feel... Human wants to be surrounded by people who are like-minded. Humans want to have conversations with people to gain new understanding, which will require them to be outgoing and be around people that aren't like-minded, you know? So it's like a give and take. That's why I say it's so nuanced, and people don't want to discover and discuss and actually conceptualize all the nuance that's here. So what they do is try to do some simple shit that ends up not working out for them because they try to make an uninformed decision with like an uninformed mind, and that's never something you want to do.
Young adults feel like they're trapped where they can only select two: friends and a career, a romantic partner and a career, or friends and a romantic partner. But who wants to be with someone who's unemployed? So you're really just choosing friends and foregoing the other two. And when chasing a career and a romantic partner becomes the top priority for most young people nowadays, unfortunately that also subsequently means that friends are the last in the priority list and the first one to go. But maybe I'm oversimplifying. Friends, as amazing as they could be,
I believe you are oversimplifying like a lot of people do when they make these decisions to cut off friends, and they make these decisions that, oh, I have no friends and no one cares about me or whatever. It's an oversimplification, because really it's a communication issue is all it is. Really, if people just fucking talked more. And I do say you need to get comfortable with not needing to explain yourself, but obviously you need to explain yourself here because they don't understand where you're coming from, and pretty sure they're asking you, hey, what do you mean by that, you know?
It takes a lot of effort to get to that level of trust. A study came out that found it takes 200 hours of time together to become close friends. 200 hours. That's not texting, that's not sending reels, that's not liking each other's stories, that's spending real time together and shared experiences together. And the problem is most people don't want or are able to put in that time anymore. Or maybe you feel like you just can't afford to put in those hours because how expensive a night out costs now. But the thing is, you don't accidentally become close friends with someone. It happens because you're intentional about showing up, even if it's inconvenient for you.
So the truth is, showing up for your friends is oftentimes inconvenient. It is going to inconvenience you. You are going to often have to spend money that you didn't think you were going to spend. You are going to have to spend time that you didn't think you were going to spend. Having boundaries does not exempt you from showing up for a friend. And what showing up for a friend does not look like, it's going somewhere and then complaining about being there the entire time. It's better you didn't show up, because you know what you didn't act like in that moment? You didn't act like a friend.
Personally, I don't even like the phrase I'm being inconvenienced by my friends, because if we're friends, I shouldn't even see it as an inconvenience, but a privilege to be contacted and share time together.
Exactly. Like, friends are a privilege. Not everyone can make friends, and not everyone can maintain and obtain friends. That's why you have to cherish them as much as you can. You have to just communicate with them if you aren't able to be there and why you're not able to be there. You don't always have to go out of your way to do everything that they want to do all the time. I don't exactly believe in that line of thinking either, but what I do think is that you should make an effort and you should communicate why you can't if you just can't.
With a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and as we were paying for our meals, he goes, "Oh, bye Jordan, have a safe ride home, I'll get an Uber." But then I was like, what? No, I'm giving you a ride, bro. And bear in mind, this guy lives, 30 minutes away, so it's not that big of a hassle. And he's just standing there shocked I would offer him a ride. He tries to insist more, but I just end it by saying, no, dude, this is just what being friends is about. If I can't show up for you more than one time of the year, how are we ever going to build trust together? Somewhere along the way, I feel like we've forgotten the awesomeness that comes from having close bonds with friends. Having a close friend isn't just someone you can talk to, it's someone you can rely on, and they can rely on you when you guys need each other, which sounds romantic, but it doesn't have to be.
I mean, we were workplace proximity acquaintances for many years, and so I thought maybe.
Say no more, you big softy. I'm gonna spend every waking moment trying to figure this out for you.
I'm not gonna let the night shift win. Me and my main man Boyle are about to solve a case. Isn't that right, Charles?
Oh, you know we will. We'll call ourselves the Night Boys.
Kind of sounds like a male escort service.
Which leads me to my next topic of the over-prioritization of romantic relationships. I feel like as a society, we put so much emphasis on finding your one person, your soulmate, your one in a billion ride or die that will go to hell and back for you. And we're taught that special someone is our holy grail that is going to save us from loneliness.
Wonder Boy, why did you?
People always do crazy things when they're in love.
Maybe relying on one person for 100% of my neglected emotional support probably isn't healthy for that person either. Men in particular fall into this trap. They're taught at a young age to repress their emotions and how they truly feel when around their friends, and assume their future partner is going to fill every emotional hole in their hearts, just at the cost of their spouse or partner needing to carry 30 years of emotional negligence. My point being, emotionally vulnerable friendships for both men and women have always been a key part of a fulfilling life. It's sad to say that I'm seeing a trend where people are deprioritizing their friendships or just forgetting what it means to be a good friend. So what's the solution? Well, there are obvious ones like individual habits you can do to try to build those friendships and recognize when maybe you aren't being as good of a friend. But while all of those options are great, I feel like what's not talked about enough is allowing yourself to experience that full range of what it means to be a friend.
I think it's all about, and I'm pretty sure we got the gist of the video. I think it's all about knowing yourself first and foremost. Learning how to love and know yourself, because if you can love yourself and know yourself, then you're capable of extending that self-love to other people, therefore making it a genuine caring bond. But if you can't even love yourself, you can't cultivate those feelings within yourself, you won't be able to do that with another person. Not truly. So that's why you have to love yourself first, and that's why you have to know yourself first, because if you know yourself, you will know what you don't want to do, and therefore you can communicate that with your friends. And you can make friends, because you will know what you don't want in a friend, because you know who you are. And that's why I think knowing yourself is the most important thing in life, is to discover yourself, discover who you are, love who you are, have confidence in who you are. And if you don't, build it. It's easy to build. You've accomplished a lot. You're here watching this video right now. That means you've accomplished a lot. You survived. Congratulations. That's not easy. Now start loving yourself, start knowing yourself, and therefore you will be able to extend that on to your friends. You can be the friend that encourages other friends to do the same thing you do, which is to love themselves and discover themselves. And if through that discovery they figure out that they don't need friends or they don't need you, you need to be confident in the fact that that's okay, because you're just going to attract more friends that are like you anyway. And that's how it works. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Have a better day than me.